Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
What's up, it's your girl Sasha Banks, legit Boston. You're watching Going In Raw. You like that?
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife.
Marie.
And you are going in SmackDown Live.
This is the glorious one, Bobby Roode, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you're going to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, and available wherever fine podcasts are. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notify bell. And if you're listening to us on an audio podcast, if you're on CastBox, be sure to sub to Going In Raw. If you're on the Apple iOS podcast app, be sure to leave us a rating or review and tell your friends. We are reviewing the WWE 2018 UK United Kingdom Tournament, Lawson.
Championship Tournament.
So the winner of this tournament this year, because last year...
Those are my Sharpies.
Tranquilo.
The winner last year was declared the first United Kingdom champion.
Yep.
But since there already is champion,
Yeah.
winner got chance at champion.
Right. On day 2, they got to fight champion. This time it's Pete Dunn
Yeah.
was champion. And the first round was... So last year we saw everything, right?
Yeah, this year the first round was at the Download Festival.
Yeah.
It's a music festival.
Yeah.
And I believe those matches somewhere, they exist somewhere.
Oh, do they?
They might be on YouTube.
They were filmed?
Yeah, so I guess
Okay.
we're not really reviewing the entire tournament because we didn't watch any of those.
We're reviewing the 2 days that were on the WWE Network, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because, like, afterwards, I was like, what happened to El Ligero? And it's like, well, he was out in the first round. Well, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a great introduction to half these people. Over half these people. But in any event, we got...
There's a limited time, man. They can't show everything on the network.
On day 1, we got the entire semifinals.
Quarter, semis, and finals.
Quarter, semis, and finals. And a fantastic, fun 6-man tag match.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring the best thing in wrestling right now, the Undisputed Era.
No, two best things in
and
wrestling.
the other best thing in wrestling right now, British Strong Style.
Yeah. First, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Let's talk overall. This is usually how we do recaps. Review kind of overall, general thoughts, impressions. Fun shows. Fun shows.
Oh, they were fun. Yeah, the matches were good. You made kind of an interesting point.
No, I after considering it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, okay.
Nah.
I feel like last year was sort of the cream of the crop. And then this year there was a lot of cream there.
Yeah.
But I think so.
Well, what I said initially when I walked in today, I was like, I think the lineup this year was deeper than last year.
Yeah.
But then after we reviewed the brackets, I was like, no, that's not the case. It's just I just watched this now, and so it's was it recency bias?
Yeah, sure.
I just saw this, so I think
Yeah.
it's deeper. But after looking at it, no, not really.
When you consider that, I would say 4. I would say this: 4 out of the top 6 overall pro wrestlers this year, or I'm sorry, in all. If you take both groups, you mash them together. 4 of the top 6 were in last year's tournament: British Strong Style and Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
And then I would say,
And none of them were in it this year.
and yeah, exactly. And then so I would put Zach Gibson in the top 6. I'd probably put him like number 4 behind British Strong Style. Be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe even 3 behind Pete Dunn and Trent Seven.
And then you got Joe Coffey, who had a really good
Joe
showing.
Coffey
You have Travis Banks, who's really good.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
No, and Jordan Devlin's really good too. He's
really good.
He's put on some muscle from last year. He's really good.
I'm bummed out he didn't last longer.
I know.
I wish he would have gone at least to the quarters.
I know.
Who did he fight that moved on to the
Flash
quarters?
Morgan Webster.
Yeah, he should have lost in the quarters. I wasn't not huge on him, even though he is the guy who at PWG said to me, "Bruiserweight," because I had the Bruiserweight shirt. I just don't like the mod gimmick. I don't like that.
What if he lost the coat and the helmet?
That would appease you because that was your point, but I agreed with it.
It's too much.
To me, it's this.
If he just came out in the suit, I'd be all right with it.
So like, mod culture was like had its genesis in the '60s British music scene, basically.
Yeah. I mean, out of which sprung the Who and so on and so forth. Yes.
They're associated with that.
And they made a
scene.
concept album about the scene called Quadrophenia,
right?
adapted into a movie. Yes.
Yeah. So, like, what would you consider the American, a comparable American parallel to the culture? I would think it's like...
Hippies would be post mods. Mods were more mid-'60s.
Yeah, so it would be...
Like a beatnik?
No, beatnik's too early.
No, I know. I'm just trying to think of a mid-'60...
Okay, so what would you consider? What would you consider early Pink Floyd? Remember how they had like the shirt? I mean, it was kind of mod-ish, but mod is a very British thing.
Yeah. Well, Pink Floyd's a British band.
Okay. What? Yeah. No, I get that. You're right. You're right. But that style that came to America, anyways.
It was very psychedelic.
Psychedelic. Yeah.
Yeah, the psychedelic thing.
Yeah. I
don't know if there's an analogous
it's hip. I mean, like,
cultural thing in America
hip.
at the time.
Hippie would be kind of. I'm not saying like necessarily during that time period, but a cultural movement that was dictated by style and music.
Reasonably analogous and from the 60s. Yes, I understand your larger point. Yes.
Yeah. So it'd be like if somebody had a hippie gimmick, which nobody wants to see that. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not into it, man. He has the body of like a 15-year-old. The thing kicked off though with Jack Gallagher.
Why don't we get this Jack Gallagher all the time? He was good.
It's a really good Jack Gallagher match.
He was good.
Yeah.
We've seen good Jack Gallagher last when he had his match against Mustafa Ali in the Cruiserweight Championship tournament after Enzo got fired.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome match.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Because for the first time, that was after Gallagher had turned heel, and they were saying, "Ooh, Gallagher, he likes being cruel."
Yeah.
But he was just doing like headlocks and stuff. It's not terribly cruel,
right?
In comparison to some other stuff. Like Zack Sabre Jr. When he puts in those moves, ooh, that looks like that's cruel.
Yeah.
And we didn't see anything like that from Jack Gallagher until the Mustafa Ali match.
Yeah.
And then this match against Zach Gibson that kicked off the network specials, he was working face, but he managed to, which he was always good at in the Cruiserweight division on 205 Live. He's always very entertaining.
Yeah.
In this match, he managed to merge his face approach in the ring, but then toss in some of the heelish not tactics, but moves.
Well, I think also with him, like,
it felt like a pure amalgam of what Jack Gallagher can actually do when not encumbered by the heel face dynamic.
When you're dealing with Zach Gibson, you have to get a little tougher. I think that was kind of part of the point.
Yeah.
But also, no, I agree with you completely. There's two guys in this tournament. I'm sorry, there's two guys during this programming that I noticed were decidedly happier working in the UK thing than they have been recently. And it's Jack Gallagher seemed really happy to be doing what he was doing, and Tyler Bate was a sea change. He was like the old Tyler Bate, that the guy who put on the 5-star match with Pete Dunn at TakeOver a year ago. Lately, whenever he's shown up, it's been like, I feel like he's just not into it. And we had heard some rumors about some backstage heat over whatever. And, you always take that with a grain of salt. But if that's the case, and he's just happy to be back in the UK and working in the UK division with some sense of purpose, especially.
And then working with British Strong Style.
And winning the NXT Tag Championships. Man, it showed, because he was crisp and intense and passionate.
Creative.
And very creative, exactly.
Let's start off with this Jack Gallagher versus Zach Gibson match.
Yeah.
Cool shout out from Jack Gallagher to Johnny Saint. We did Lady of the Lake. Got himself up in a little ball.
Yeah, that was fun.
Great stuff. Basic story was Gibson was working over Gallagher's left arm, getting him ready for Shankly Gates, which is kind of like a camel clutch, but instead of doing the full Nelson, instead of draping the arms over the legs, you get a double wrist lock Kimura type deal. So you're getting pressure on the arm plus the lower back.
Yeah.
Looks painful.
Yeah, it does.
So he was setting up Gallagher for Shankly Gates. Gallagher had this spot that was great. I don't think he's ever done this in 205 Live. He pretty much does a sunset flip while Gibson's laying on his back, I think. Grabs him by the head, rolls him over into a rear naked choke. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was neat. It was really cool.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Gibson gets to the bottom ropes. Gallagher hits his quarter drop kick, which used to be his finisher. Gibson kicks out.
Yeah.
And this was great. Gallagher goes for the headbutt, and Gibson went throat thrust.
Yeah, Gibson was booked really strong here.
He
booked
was the
really
entire
through
tournament.
The entire
This
tournament.
is probably like his.
He kicked out of a lot of stuff.
This match was maybe 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
This might have been his steepest challenge up until his match against Pete Dunn.
Yeah.
Because by the time he got to the finals of the tournament, Travis Banks had been severely compromised.
Yeah, he had been beat up by Coffee.
Yeah, but in the end, Gibson tosses Gallagher into the ring post, follows it up with Shankly Gates. Gallagher has to tap out. But give us more of this Jack Gallagher on 205 Live, please.
Screw that, man. Just bring him to the UK.
Or that, because we saw another former 205 Live competitor apparently make his debut in NXT UK.
Yeah.
Noam Dar on day 2.
Jacked.
Man, he looked great.
Yeah, he looked amazing.
Wow.
He looked fantastic. Can we talk about this next match? It's hilarious.
Joe Coffey versus Dave Mastiff.
So it was
Hoss fight.
Yeah, it was a Hoss fight. So it was kind of like one of these guys was, in my opinion, a lot better than the other. It was Joe Coffey. Was a lot better. It was like anything Mastiff could do, Coffey could do better. And so I was just more interested in Joe Coffey.
What do you think of that double fun splash
I thought
spot?
it was great.
They both fun splash each
Yeah,
other.
because that's how it sort of started off. They started doing the run into each other, the
shoulder tackles,
the
yeah.
shoulder tackles into each other, see who'll fall first, and then they finished it that sort of thing. It was just a stalemate, so they finished it with a double fun splash. They both just sort of laid there for a while.
See, I think what
Coffey just came off as like not as big, obviously, not as stout as Mastiff, obviously taller because everybody is, but some of the stuff that Coffey was doing was like ridiculously athletic
I think
for
that,
his
but
size.
I think more so than that is that I just think in this instance, Coffey just showed a lot more personality.
There's that too, but there is that. I'll agree completely with that, and I'll put it this way: I'm not down on Dave Mastiff. I think there's a place for him, especially if Coffey and his brother are going to be in the tag team division, which seems
to be the case, yeah.
Because they already have he positioned himself as potentially like one of the top heels, but then Zach Gibson's sitting there, so they might be redundant. And so if the Coffey brothers, boys, whatever, are like in a tag team, like as a top heel tag team, that's good.
Yeah.
It's just when I was sort of just watching like the moveset, the match itself, I was like, well, Coffey's, they've got that thing now where you have a Haas who's impressively athletic, who can do more things than a Haas typically can.
Yeah.
And I saw that with Coffey. I didn't necessarily see it with Mastiff.
No, I agree with that, but I think for me,
But on top of that,
even more so, I think is what really separated them was that Coffey was either given the opportunity or just took it upon himself, or just is more natural in terms of showing off his personality.
I got a better idea of who he is. You're right. Yeah. And so, Joe Coffey ended up going over
with a spinning clothesline.
Yeah.
Discus clothesline. Afterwards, gave an interview saying, "I'm coming for you, Pete Dunn."
His match with Travis Banks was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good,
especially his side of things. Because like you sort of mentioned this later on, you're like, they didn't really let Travis Banks work heel, which is where he works.
Well,
best.
not so much working heel, but they just positioned him as traditional underdog babyface. And when we've seen him, he's like the most intense guy in the ring. And they didn't necessarily focus on that until the number one contender match, day two, which brought out a bit more of that. Which is, and I think in terms of character, he came off a lot better.
Yeah, sure. After that, we had Flash Morgan Webster with versus Jordan Devlin. I really like Jordan Devlin. They really emphasized commentary in the little package before. Really emphasized how he's made the most of his time over the past year. Really, looking better, honing his craft,
winning a lot.
They
mentioned that he had been winning a lot.
He beat like Cassius Ohno in one fight.
Yeah. He looks like he put on another 5 to 10 pounds of muscle too.
Yeah. That's funny. You call it, it's totally Destino.
Yeah, it is a Destino.
Yeah. Did they call it that?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Only one person calls it that.
But no, I mean, Flash Morgan, he has like some cool stuff going on. Like,
his running corner D is great.
Yeah,
he's
that's
got
good.
Some decent high flying stuff.
He's got some good, suicide dive stuff. Some topes that I like.
He's a pretty decent wrestler.
He's good. I don't know how old he is. He's probably.
I don't know either. It's just the gimmick you can't get past, huh?
I don't know. And also, like, he just doesn't look that impressive. Like, I want a dude who looks like freaking impressive. Okay, the old adage that they say Triple H says, I need a guy who looks like he can kick somebody's butt. He doesn't look like he can kick anybody's butt. He really doesn't. And I kind of agree with Triple H's assessment. Like, you look at Aleister Black, holy crap. You look at Joe Coffey, holy crap.
Yeah,
Even Travis Banks, when he's in the mode, it's like, man, that dude, you know.
Yeah.
And he's got kind of a grizzled face.
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah,
He has
yeah.
an older face. Flash just kind of looks like a kid. So,
All right.
that's it. I'm not really dogging the guy.
No, I know.
I'm just saying.
This isn't your cup of
I've
tea.
got my predilections,
Yeah.
man. He doesn't have a Wikipedia page. I have no idea.
That's
how old he
weird.
is.
Well, go to his cage match page.
Wikipedia.
I would think. I mean, he's been wrestling for a while. There you go.
Has he, though?
I thought so.
He debuted in 2009. Jeez,
He's
can't
been
be
wrestling
that
for
young.
9 years.
Unless he started when he was like 13.
Well, it's entirely possible. He doesn't look like he's 22. He looks older than that. Next. Flash Morgan Webster went over with Destino. I don't remember what they called it.
Hey, you know, I'll say this about Webster, though. So I watched like a 3-minute long highlight package.
Yeah, I've seen
of
that too.
him.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys who does like a lot more stuff when he's out on the indie circuit because they let people do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there was that part in. I think they showed some of in his introductory package, him doing like cross bodies into the crowd onto chairs and stuff like that. Yeah.
I want to see a bit more of that.
Yeah, I know. They didn't do that though.
After that, we had but like you said, Webster won with Destino. After that, Travis Banks versus Ashton Smith. Ashton Smith came off like a dude who'd be on 205 Live as local enhancement talent. Travis Banks is cool. I like him.
Travis Banks is great.
I like that you're looking at shoes right now.
Well, there's some hot releases dropping today, Steve.
I legitimately like that you're looking at that. I think
cool.
It's great.
Cool.
Travis Banks. Like you said, they didn't really let him do the intensity thing.
Well, I mean, they build him as the Kiwi buzzsaw.
Yeah.
He seemed totally affable in this little interview bit, like just down to earth and just seemed came across as a cool guy.
Yeah, sure.
Not necessarily like a buzzsaw.
Right. Yeah. But he won the match.
Yeah, I like Travis Banks a lot. I think
Yeah.
he's got a lot of potential. He's a Progress World Champ right now.
That's right. He is.
Seems like based on what happened day 2, he's going to be more involved.
When is the next Progress taping?
Oh, I don't know.
Who's
The next chapter?
When's the next? Who's next in line? Because
You're more up to date on Progress than I am.
Yeah, as you see, I'm asking you right now, so I am not up to date. After that, we had
Travis Banks went over with the Kiwi Crusher. I don't know if he said that.
we had a triple threat #1 contender match for the women's NXT Championship. Toni Storm, Killer Kelly, which is like my favorite name, and Isla Dawn. Jenny Couture was supposed to be in this match, but apparently
She got concussed.
ouch. Oof. That brain rattle, man. That's no good. This is a fun match, though.
It was. Toni Storm's the best.
She is literally the best across the board at everything. She's fantastic. She picked up the win on Isla Dawn after her Storm Zero finisher. She's not going to be able to. She was big on pile drivers up till now because of the WWE, right? Or like she can't do them anymore because of WWE. But she was big on pile drivers, I think, right? Was the Storm Zero a pile driver in the first place?
It was more. I thought it was like a Trent's finisher.
Oh, really?
I thought so.
Huh. That's interesting. Her match against Shayna Baszler the next
Really
round was
good.
fantastic. Maybe
Really
the
good.
best Shayna Baszler matches there've been.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But no, this was great. It was basically the match was kind of like Killer Kelly and Isla Dawn trying to get Toni Storm out of the way so they could fight.
Yeah.
But then Toni Storm eventually came back in. Storm Zero on Isla Dawn.
Yeah.
After that, we had Triple H came out.
He introduced
all business.
He introduced Johnny Saint.
Yeah.
And made the announcement that we had already heard, but still, it was cool to see it. There will be a dedicated United Kingdom show and brand, NXT United Kingdom. Going to have, obviously, Pete Dunne still as champion. Then you're also going to have a tag division and a women's division.
Yep.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
And there's an interest, like this one, they just did a dedicated United Kingdom Championship Tournament graphic package, the Open. On day 2, I'll just mention this now, it was the NXT intro.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting.
And I'm sure as they do the show, they'll cut footage in of United Kingdom stars, so it's not North American NXT stars.
Because it was strictly, they didn't even cut anybody in. They didn't even cut like Pete Dunne in there.
I just had an idea.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So, now we got the United Kingdom division for NXT UK.
Warm in here.
You got Adam Cole as North American champion for NXT North America. What do you think the possibility is that the NXT champion, I know Triple H in his global localization deal said that these territories, if you will, such as
NXT champ would be like the NWA champ.
kind of, that's why I'm wondering if that might happen. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be on the road 350 days a year like Ric Flair was back in the day.
Yeah.
But if they're going to have the NXT champion go to these international territories from time to time to take on those territories' top stars.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there was some amount of crossover, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't think they know either.
I know. Well, I mean, the way Triple H put it, it was like NXT would be top NXT, and all the territorial NXTs would feed North American NXT, and from there, there's a path to Raw and SmackDown.
Well, I'll say this. Given how supremely over the Undisputed Era was, it might behoove them to do something like that.
I know.
Because obviously the UK crowd isn't going to get to see UK Prime all that often. So it'd be just another excuse to bring them over, a couple times a year maybe. So,
Yeah, just a couple times a year.
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. I think that'd be great. I mean, Triple H is a big history guy.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he, thought that'd be a cool idea to take that route.
If he patterned NXT after the old territorial days.
That'd be fascinating.
That would be pretty interesting.
After that, we had the first in our quarterfinal matchups. No, semifinal matchups.
Yes.
Flash Morgan Webster versus Zach Gibson. I really actually dug this match. I'm going to dial back on me talking crap about Flash because this started off with him just going after Zach Gibson with much intensity, with being very fierce, and eventually Zach Gibson, he was able to weather the storm and make him tap out.
Yeah, the tides were officially kind of turned when Flash Morgan Webster was going for the second of 2 suicide dives on Zach Gibson. Zach Gibson must be kind of immune to suicide dives. That was kind of a storyline.
Twice he did this, huh?
So he catches Webster during a suicide dive and then suplexes him on the ramp. Gets back in the ring looking for a count out. Webster beats the 10 count. However, Gibson puts him in the Shankly gates. Webster taps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a solid match.
No, it was cool. I thought it was, it was a great way to start the match off because Flash Morgan Webster is obviously smaller than Zach Gibson, so he went after him. It was like, whoa, he's trying to,
get the upper hand early.
Get the upper hand early, exactly. After that, we had our second semifinal match: Travis Banks versus Joe Coffey. This is, again, a bit more intense than what we saw from either guy in their first matches. It was kind of interesting. I like this because it protected Joe Coffey.
Yep.
And it gave him a reason to beat the crap out of Travis Banks.
Yep.
Which, of course, hindered Travis Banks going into his finals matchup.
Immensely.
Yeah. So, yeah, he won with Banks won with a roll-up. So that was kind of cool.
And then Coffey annihilated him.
And then, destroyed him afterwards. Threw him in a ring post. And then in the main event, which was the finals, Travis Banks had not rib tape.
Shoulder tape,
not rock tape.
Yeah.
Traditional tape.
Like Daniel Bryan had in the main event of WrestleMania 30.
Yes, correct. But before that, we had British Strong Style
man.
versus Undisputed Era. This match was this was so much fun.
British Strong Style and Undisputed Era have a lot of similarities. Immense charisma. They're all incredibly talented wrestlers. And they're all incredibly creative.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing. And we were talking about, I can't remember which match it was. And we mentioned this before, I think on our Dominion recap, about how strong New Japan is when it comes to playing against one's expectations. And NXT does a really good job of this. Specifically, these two teams do an exceptional job of that. And not only play against your expectations, do it in extremely creative ways.
One trope of wrestling when you're a fan, when you're really into it, is everybody has their finishing move. Everybody has their move set. And so as opposed to a lot of the time with wrestling across the board, from the indies to Ring of Honor, New Japan, WWE, you get matches where just what you expect to have happens.
I mean, there's almost certain beats within the match that certain performers will perform their moves at this segment of the match, and generally it goes off without a hitch. But the better matches, whether it be in New Japan, on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, United Kingdom, anywhere, is when and maybe that's why they do it 85% of the time.
Yeah, sure.
They do things almost based on a script. So you see this happen, you expect this to happen. When it doesn't, it seems like an incredible counter or something like that.
Yeah.
And then eventually they'll find a way within the context of the match to, out of the usual sequence, they will do that move. They will find a way to perform it. And when that happens, you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that because it didn't happen before.
Right, yeah. When you expect one thing and then they play against that, that makes for some really, really fascinating stuff. And when you have 6 guys, all of whom bring something different and interesting, and yet on each side of the ring, they all work in conjunction with each other, because these teams have been around each other and known each other and been tagging with each other or fighting each other for so long. And then you get all these minds who know how to do these things at the top level to interact. You get a match like this that is so much fun to watch, and there's so much stuff going on. I mean, down to the moment where Tyler Bate goes for the bip and bop thing, and he goes for a bip with Adam Cole, and Adam Cole just super kicks him. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't see that happen. He always hits that one. Trent Seven, and you had asked me if I'd seen this before, and I was like, no. Doled out 2 chops to Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole expected a third, and instead ducked it, got a DDT.
Yeah.
So there was all sorts of that kind of stuff happening. Tyler Bate was on another freaking level during this match too. When he does that thing where he springboards against the ropes, like that, he launched over. Like Pete Dunn was prone, like sort of as a roadblock
in his path. Yeah,
in his path, he just leapfrogged him, and then it springs him back over him, which I mean is basic physics, but still, it was really impressive to watch, and it's kind of a risky maneuver there, because the dude just laying there.
Oh, I know. And there's that spot where Tyler Bate, he has Adam Cole up in the airplane spin, and then there's Roderick Strong just laying on the mat, and so he's got Adam Cole over his shoulders. He grabs Roderick Strong's legs and spins both of them.
And spins them all at the same time. You see Roderick Strong, like all that work on his core muscles that lead to this moment.
Paying off.
Exactly. So, and the crowd was just eating it up. It's so funny just how over the Undisputed Era is, though. People love them so much. So, I mean, it's funny because they booked, and it makes me... So, like, obviously the next night, British Strong Style, Mustache Mountain, rather, went over, and they won the NXT Championships. The NXT Tag Championship. And you had mentioned, I was kind of curious that they had them go over night 1, British Strong Style. And I just kind of figure that, the crowd that was there night 1, because it's probably a different crowd than it was night 2. I'm sure there are plenty of people who probably got both tickets. But if you assume that there are people there night 1, you kind of want to leave them with a good taste in their mouth. So let your local guys go over. Even though I honestly don't think anybody would have minded if Undisputed Era went over, because they're so popular. It's hilarious. So anyways, let's see here. Roderick Strong also kicked out of a 7 Stars Lariat.
Dunn breaks up a pin after last shot from Adam Cole to Trent Seven. Finish saw the spot you mentioned where Tyler Bate pins Kyle O'Reilly after there's a combo thing that Trent Seven and Tyler Bate do, where Trent Seven does a dragon suplex as Tyler Bate does the springboard thing off the rope in clothesline. But he had to do that over Pete Dunne in this instance, and British Strong Style picked up the win. It's awesome.
It was great. The crowd ate it up. It was fantastic. After that, we had Shawn Michaels come out and drop a promo. Hey, look, man, it's Shawn Michaels.
Oh, yeah.
It was. You called it superfluous. Totally was.
Yeah.
But it's Shawn Michaels. And like I was.
You can't boo HBK.
You're not going to boo HBK. And I did like the little bit of history, which in a minor way justified him being there.
Oh, yeah. It said 1991.
He was in the first
match at, I don't know if he said WWE's first show at Royal Albert Hall or what.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
So. And I think commentary said it was with the Rockers. It was when he was with
that makes sense. That's the timeline, yeah.
And then we had our main event, Travis Banks versus Zach Gibson. This is a fantastic match. It saw Zach Gibson
destroyed Travis Banks' arm, and Travis Banks had to do whatever he could just to overcome walking into the match with an obvious, microphone disadvantage.
And so Zach Gibson was trying to get the Shankly Gates on during the length of the match. Obviously, not just because it's, he's already finished a couple guys with it, but because Travis Banks is extra susceptible to it because of a shoulder injury. So that was sort of the story of the match, him trying to get that on, and Banks finding various ways to get out of it. At one point he was in it, got to the ropes, Gibson kicked out of a Kiwi Crusher. Gibson was kicking out of all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, man, he was booked really strong.
Yeah.
I guess which makes sense if they want to put the thought in fans' minds that there's a chance, because Pete Dunn has been operating at a completely different level.
Oh, yeah.
If they want to put the thoughts in fans' mind that Gibson has a legit chance. And I'm not going to say he ran through this tournament, but I didn't really feel like he was ever really challenged.
Yeah. Until the championship match.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had talked about this off camera. I guess we should probably talk about it now because Zach Gibson ended up going over. He ended up getting Travis Banks to tap out.
Yeah.
It was a really fun match.
Yeah, it was a really hard-fought match.
Before we get started with day 2, also we can mention, so everybody then, Triple H, HBK, Johnny Saint came to the ring. Zach Gibson was about to cut a promo. He asked for the mic. No, Pete Dunn comes out. They face off, setting up day 2. Day 2 is essentially the start of NXT UK. They announced it day 1, and then like you said, they ran the NXT package, so they were kind of giving it that feel. The branding was NXT UK in terms of all the little matchup cards and stuff, and that was all really well done. But the idea, I really think, to emphasize and build anticipation for NXT UK and to give Zach Gibson the sort of the real rub and push that he needed to be. All right, you're the new dude, right? You're the new hot stuff, right? Have him go over in the tournament at the end of day 2.
Yeah.
And then Pete Dunn, I'm coming after you, which sets up the actual NXT UK show.
Yeah, then give that a couple episodes too to build. Give it time to build. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Agreed.
And even put that on in a takeover or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Because at this point it felt
he had a spotlight for less than like 24 hours.
Yeah, I know. And it felt anticlimactic.
Right, exactly.
When he lost to Pete Dunn in the main event in day 2.
And
whereas I remember the feeling, and remember the reaction to Tyler Bate when he won the initial tournament. He pins Pete Dunn to win the match, and he's overwhelmed instantly.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a pretty memorable moment.
And a star is born.
Exactly.
You know,
and I don't get the sense here.
I know, me too. And that's sort of the thing. It's an impossible. I'll put it this way: it's not an impossible situation because I think the thing that I outlined would have worked better. But I understand the predicament where you want a title shot, or you want to have a title match on TV or during this thing. You don't want to wait probably a month or so. When's the first tapings? Is
July, mid-July.
Mid-July. So you're looking at a month before it's on TV. But you want Zach Gibson, that sort of looming threat to Pete Dunn.
This is how they should end it.
Should be thick.
That's how they should end it the second day. Contract signing.
Yes, there you go. Exactly.
Or no, that's actually the main event should have been the finals. Zach Gibson makes Travis Banks tap. And then Pete Dunn comes out as they have it on the end of day 1. And Zach Gibson destroys him.
Yeah, exactly.
Lays him out.
Exactly, yeah. That's perfect.
And drops the promo. This belt's going to be mine come whenever the match happens.
Yeah.
Give it a month or two to build.
Yeah.
Give it time.
Have a cliffhanger, man. Have a cliffhanger. Yeah. But the next day was fun. It was basically, especially his first match. Or no, I'm sorry.
No,
it
was
later on. Yeah,
the NXT tag match.
No, this first match was fantastic. Mustache Mountain versus Undisputed Era. Great match, fantastic match. Mustache Mountain ended up going over and winning those NXT tag championships. But man, this was so much fun.
Oh heck yeah! That spot where again Tyler Bate operating a whole another level.
Those
so
Kyle
O'Reilly is on Tyler Bate's back with a rear naked choke, and then Tyler Bate deadlifts Roderick Strong and German suplexes him while Kyle O'Reilly's still on his back.
Yeah,
insane.
Oh man,
insane.
Yeah.
At one point, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven hit their finish, the Dragon Suplex clothesline combo, and then Roderick Strong pushes Trent Seven into Bate to break up the pinfall. So you as a viewer are thinking, oh, that was their chance to win. They're not going to do it now.
And the crowd singing that too, because their reaction when Mustache Mountain went over was just roof came off.
Yes, again playing against expectations. But in the end, Mustache Mountain hit like Trent Seven did like a reverse Death Valley driver, while Tyler Bate hit a knee from the top rope.
Yeah.
Pick up the win. New NXT tag champions.
Yeah. It's pretty shocking.
Great stuff.
When we heard about it on Twitter.
Yes. A week before we saw it.
Next up, we had a Johnny Saint press conference. God bless his soul. He's still learning. I love that. He said, we're going to have a number 1 contendership match to find out who's now that Zach Gibson's no longer nowhere in Contender. He was less than 24 hours. We're gonna have a we're gonna have a triple threat match.
Yeah.
And he said Flash, Morgan Webster versus Mark Andrews
versus Travis Banks.
Well, he said, Banks.
Based on what I saw yesterday, Travis Banks and Flash Morgan Webster, and based on what I've seen for the last year, Mark Andrews.
Yeah, exactly. But after that, before that match, we had Killer Kelly versus Charlie Morgan. Decent enough match. It was okay.
Yeah.
A couple sloppy moments here and there. But you know what? It's NXT. It's still developmental. They're still learning. So good for them. That's a big spotlight to be under.
It really
anyways.
is. And Charlie Morgan picked up the win with roll-up.
Killer Kelly still has a really great name.
Yeah.
Next up, we had that number one contendership match. Mark Andrews versus Travis Banks versus Flash Morgan Webster. And before the match kicked off, those three participants were in the ring. And Johnny Saint came out and said, "Hold on, fellas. This has now been declared fatal four-way by Her Majesty's Queen."
He didn't say that.
No, he didn't. But he said this is going to be a four-man fatal match. He actually did say that.
Yeah,
it
he
was
did
kind
say
of
that.
funny. And this guy right here is going to be in it. The returning Noam Dar.
He's got new pants.
Jacked to the
He's
gills.
jacked. He's got pants now, no longer wearing
He
trunks.
looked like time itself.
Yeah, he did.
He looked fantastic.
He had the entire universe on his jacket
Yeah.
and pants. Man, and
Yeah,
he's
dude.
jacked.
Oh, jacked.
Jacked.
It
And
was
it's
fantastic.
I'm very happy that it appears that at least
I hope.
for the foreseeable future, he's going to be in the United Kingdom division.
I hope that's the case.
More than anything, I hope that's the case because I remember in the Cruiserweight Classic, I say this all the time, we saw a lot of what he can do.
Yeah.
And on 205 Live, we didn't really get a whole lot of
Right.
that. So I'm hoping now
Yeah.
that he's on, hopefully in NXT UK, we can see the full breadth of what Noam Dar can do.
Yeah. And in this match, we also, like we said sort of earlier, we got to see a bit more from Travis Banks in terms of what we've seen
more
in
of the
past.
Kiwi buzzsaw stuff. Yeah,
Right, exactly.
The super intense wrestler. This match was a lot of fun. It was overbooked.
Oh, yeah. But
it was
I like,
a ton of fun,
I like when multi-man matches are overbooked like that. Surprisingly, Noam Dar got the pin. He got the win, man. He's not first guy to be felled by Pete Dunne after Zach Gibson. So it'll give Zach Gibson some time to come back around to it. That should be interesting how they book him. And then afterwards, the Coffee Brothers. So there's also a Mark Coffee.
Yeah,
There's
he was
not
sitting
just-
ringside during Joe Coffey's matches.
Right.
Day one.
Didn't remember that. But, yeah, so Joe Coffey and Mark Coffey, the Coffee guys, they
Run to the
came in.
ring and beat up everybody except Noam Dar. He had already left the ring, and at first he was like, "I'll go to the ring," and said, "No."
Oh,
He did that
why would
twice.
I do that, folks? And, yeah, then they stood and did some sort of fist thing.
And then they did this,
And they did this.
looking
So,
tough and mean.
Yeah, mean guys.
Effective though.
Yeah. They're like a cooler version of Heavy Machinery.
Mm-hmm.
They're like neat and British, so they like scones. Next up. Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, they're Scottish. I think they still like scones. Next up, we had Wolfgang versus Adam Kolb.
This is interesting.
Wolfgang, he kind of looks like Shane Douglas in like a marshmallow had like a baby. He's like a puffier Shane Douglas.
Do you think they expected the heel face dynamic to play out how it did?
I don't know.
When they booked this match?
I don't know.
Because Wolfgang comes out, and there's a polite reception.
A smattering of, oh, hey, cool.
Adam Cole comes out.
Roof explodes.
Yeah.
With babies.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then as soon as the bell rings, match starts, everybody's booing Wolfgang. Just boos. And to his credit, and again, I don't know if they expected this or what, he played it up.
You know what this reminded me of? It so reminded me of, like, remember when the NWO used to come to the ring and they were supposed to be the heels?
Yeah.
And then you'd have, like, friggin' Hugh Morris in there.
Yeah.
And he would try to mock them, which is exactly what Wolfgang did when he tried to mock the Undisputed Era sign.
Oh, that's true. He did do the beginning.
He
so
did,
yeah.
yeah.
So they must have been aware of the fact that Adam Cole is going to get cheered.
It reminded me of that.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you can't. No, you're not mocking cool
No.
because you're not.
No.
I like Wolfgang, though. This is a fun match. Adam Cole, holy crap. He was lifting up Wolfgang up on his shoulders.
Yeah,
and
he did the
doing all
original
sorts of
version of Last Shot to him, which looks like it'd be tough to do.
he almost murdered Wolfgang. That last shot was rough.
Well, it's not Last Shot now.
Well, whatever
It's
Morrow wants to call
It's
it.
OG Last Shot.
Yeah, is that what Morrow calls it?
No, that's what I call
They
it.
need to, though.
That's what I call it.
It's great.
Because that used to be his finisher.
He usually sets up the new Last Shot with OG Last Shot.
He has,
though.
yeah.
So maybe it's a combination.
A combination.
Yeah.
It's a 2-move finisher.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Could be.
That's what I believe.
Anyways, heel Wolfgang heel Wolfgang lost to face Adam Cole. Adam Cole retains that North American title.
And on top of that, afterwards, he did his Adam Kolb thing. The entire arena asked him to do one more time. And complete and total most over baby face in the company, Adam Cole, then revved up the crowd.
He did the Bob
He
Roode.
did this and then started doing this and then did it. And the entire crowd just exploded with a baby. Oh, my God. Most over moment in the entire flipping tournament. Oh, it was great.
Adam Cole's incredible.
After that, we had a very short Mustache Mountain interview, both expressing their excitement over having won the NXT Tag Team Championships. After that, we had the most house show flipping tag match. Oh, my God. Velveteen Dream and EC3 versus Ricochet and Aleister Black. If you ever go to a house show,
This is exactly what you'll get.
this is what it is. Like, no risky moves, overbooked, tons of comedy, complete silliness, everybody sticking to their own move set.
Yeah.
Nothing, not going out of the way to do anything. Velveteen Dream had his merch shirt on and some obvious house show tights.
Yeah.
Nothing special about
There was a
this.
great moment when after Aleister Black made his entrance and sat in the middle of the ring. They cut to EC3 and Velveteen Dream, who are ringside, and Velveteen Dream's kind of laying like this on the barricade, and then EC3 is sitting like Aleister Black, but holding up 3 fingers on each.
Yeah, that's
pretty
great.
funny.
Now, it was fun, and that's why house shows are so much fun.
Because there's a little more comedy involved to the whole proceeding.
Exactly. It was a really fun match, though.
Yeah.
But it kind of ended. You figure EC3 was there to eat the pin because he's probably headed to main after SummerSlam already.
I know.
And Velveteen Dream, he was selling an injury. So, like, EC3 went for a hot tag. Velveteen Dream leaves. He starts walking off. EC3 understands that lurking behind him is Aleister Black.
Especially when the entire crowd, since chance turn around.
Exactly.
Turn around.
And so he milks it for all it's worth. Then he balls up his fist, ready for action, turns around, eats Black Mass, gets the pin, or eats the pin. Aleister Black goes over. But there was a lot of fun stuff. Ricochet did Ricochet stuff.
But largely inconsequential.
Oh, yeah, big time. After that, we had a brief Toni Storm interview where she said, I've been in the ring before with Shayna Baszler, I think when they were in Japan.
She knows what to expect.
She knows what to expect, and I'm going to be the new champion.
Yep.
This was the best Shayna Baszler match I think I've seen. I'm pretty sure it is. And a lot of it was, I mean, it was mainly because of Toni Storm's ability to sell. She's such
a fantastic seller.
She is a fantastic seller. She really is.
I mean, she literally looked like she was choking, gasping for air.
Yeah.
When during and after Baszler had her in the chokehold.
Yeah. When
she was outside, following the count at, it looked like that she had been suffocated. It was pretty incredible. So the entire story of the match, leading up to the finish, was Shayna Baszler picking apart Toni Storm and ultimately focusing on the leg.
Yeah.
And so she did the stomp thing on it, put her in all sorts of submission moves focused on the leg, the lower body.
Yeah.
Ultimately compromising Toni Storm's leg enough so that when Toni Storm did manage to hit her finisher, which of course is, the entire impact is on the injured leg.
Yeah.
She hits it, but hurts herself in the process and can't make the pin soon enough to score the victory.
Right, and then it also came into play a little bit later. She was going to do one of those snap German suplexes, and she couldn't hit it on
Leg
Shayna
gave
Baszler.
out.
Exactly. Shayna Baszler was able to get behind her and choked her out. She got
The
the
first
win.
time she did that.
Oh, no, she didn't get the win by that.
No, she got the choke on Toni. Toni got to the rope, so
Right.
move was broken up. Toni rolled the outside. Shayna went out there and choked her out. Got the count out win. But the way Toni Storm sold everything.
Yeah.
Great job selling the leg. Awesome job
Looks
selling
like she
the
was
choke.
crying, yeah.
I know. Incredible.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Toni Storm's gonna be massive whenever she decides
She's
to
going to be huge.
come over to WWE full time.
She's going to be huge, dude.
I mean, really, once she decides I'm going to join WWE full time, just send her up to Maine.
Oh, I know.
She's so ready.
I know, for sure.
Imagine a Toni Storm Ember Moon match. Toni Storm Asuka.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I can't wait. And then
Main event.
We had Zach Gibson versus Pete Dunne. Like you said, This was kind of like the most that we saw Zach Gibson have to face adversity, but hell of a match.
Yeah, it was really good.
Just a really fantastic match. You also said it. Pete Dunn is operating on a whole nother level.
He's incredible.
And he kind of showed why he was the star of this match. You know, I mean, Zach Gibson did everything he could, but I think this sort of goes back to the idea that Pete Dunn, even in the last year, like ever since he won the title, he's been killing it. He's been absolutely killing it. He's a next level talent. It's hard to get in there and make a new star out of a guy when Pete Dunn is a next level talent.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so there's only a few guys like that on the planet.
It's going to take Pete Dunn moving up to NXT or the main roster.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like it's going to be an Asuka-esque run for Pete Dunn at this point.
Feels like it should be.
That he's going to have that belt as long as he wants to.
Yeah.
And then when he decides to move on to NXT in the States or to the main roster, that's when he'll give it up.
Who beat him? Because he was the Progress champion. Who beat him for the Progress? Like, who? Weren't those guys like all Progress guys? Like before they landed?
Because they had
because I'm
the
kind of
tag
curious,
titles.
like, who did he pass the torch to?
Hold on, I'll look.
Or if it was a more convoluted path.
It was Travis Banks.
Oh, okay. All right.
He lost it October of last year.
Well, maybe they'll revisit that. You know, they could revisit that. This is a fantastic match, though. Pete Dunne hit his X-Plex on the ramp. It looks like it hurt both guys really bad. That was fun. Gibson actually kicked out of a bitter end.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
You don't remember seeing that?
No, I remember seeing it this match, but prior to this match, I don't recall seeing
you don't
it.
remember somebody doing it before?
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
I mean, maybe Tyler Bate during their takeover match.
Might have, yeah.
I don't know.
Gibson hit his lung blower off the ropes. Ticket to Ride. He's from Liverpool. Liverpool's number one. So he likes the Beatles.
Yeah.
Gets Dunn and Shankly Gates, but Dunn gets to the ropes, breaks it up. That twisting suplex deal, he did to Flash Morgan Webster on the ramp. He did the same to Pete Dunne, except it was off the top rope and in the ring, not on the ramp.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Because it was unexpected.
Yes. And then, again, Shankly Gates. Dunn gets to the ropes again.
And he's selling it. Oh, my God.
And then Gibson starts kicking him in the face and the head.
Yeah, kicking him in the head. Camera goes close on Pete Dunne, and he just looks miserable. He looks absolutely miserable.
And then, he loses his mouthpiece, and he picks it up, puts it back in his mouth.
Puts it back in, and they just start boxing each other in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, it was great. But in the end, Pete Dunne picks up the win after a second bitter end, retains the United Kingdom Championship. He can have that belt as long as he wants it.
Yeah, as long as Triple H thinks that he's doing his job in the UK division, so we can bring him up to Maine, because that's where he belongs. Him and Mustache Mountain both. But it is something else. It's going to be really interesting how they approach. At what point they feel they're going to be ready to move on with this next crop. I don't know if Mark Andrews is going to be. I mean, he hasn't really been seen in 205 Live lately.
Not a whole lot, no.
So I don't know if he's going to be sticking around the UK division. I'm not sure how, what kind of ratio of established stars versus like this new crop they're gonna deal with.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really looking forward.
The talent's there to put on a really captivating, interesting show on a weekly basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the creative is good enough to match the talent, it should be a lot of fun. If
creative's anything like it is in NXT Prime, man, this is going to be so much fun. It's going to be a blast. And Tony Storm.
Oh, I know.
Tony freaking Storm, man. Yeah, they all came out at the end. It's like, this is NXT UK. This is what we do now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is fun. Anyways, that's it. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Till next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Goodbye.